Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is John Amabile with another video from my book, Changing the Worlds, the for-profit plan to mine asteroids and terraform 2 planets in 1 human lifetime. In May of 2017, I attended the International Space Development Conference. While I learned a lot of interesting things at this conference, the thing that convinced me to put out a second edition of my book is Transastra's water extraction technology. Existing data from asteroids suggests that about 1% of the mass of an average asteroid is water. This is a breakthrough that is difficult to put into words. Nuclear thermal rockets need 2 things: uranium, or some kind of fissionable fuel, and then hydrogen to be propelled out. We currently have 68,000 tons of uranium that everyone except me calls waste. There's also plenty more from that came from as more and more nuclear weapons are taken offline. But hydrogen is most of the mass needed by a nuclear thermal rocket, and where can we get that? Prior to learning of Transastra's technology, I plan to fly fueled vehicles out past the orbit of Mars and fly small amounts of ice back. We might need this eventually to obtain a large amount of hydrogen all at one time, but that is a bad way to start. Since there is no real friction in space, even a small amount of hydrogen propelled at 80,000 kilometers an hour can quickly accelerate a large mass to a high speed. With Transastra's system, a 1,000-ton asteroid will yield us 1 ton of hydrogen, a huge amount of propellant. Some asteroids will have more hydrogen than others. Some companies could specialize in propellant recovery from high hydrogen asteroids. Every company will recover what hydrogen they can from any asteroid they mine. So making solar cells out of atom group asteroids will not require fuel on the way back. The expedition that mines arrows can fly back using propellant that is a byproduct from mining arrows. These small amounts of hydrogen all over our routes may be enough for most operations, since there is virtually no friction or gravity in most of the solar system. Suffice to say, Transastra's design opens up more fuel in this solar system than the mass of the entire Earth. There will be a small propellant cost to get to these objects, but there will not be any to come back and none for moving around. This will also have an interesting market effect as we get farther and farther toward the back of the solar system. The solar system formed just like a glass of water, with the heavier elements toward the bottom, near the sun, and the lighter elements at the top, away from the sun. Many main belt asteroids have low hydrogen counts since that is the lightest element. The Kuiper belt has a huge amount of hydrogen, as do many objects in the orbits of the gas giants. It would be easier to fuel movements between the moons of Saturn than it would to do that between the moons of Mars. As the solar system develops, we would see expensive equipment manufactured on the inner planets. Those ships full of nuclear fuel, machine parts, and colonists will be heading out, and they'll be coming back with refined hydrogen. All of the hydrogen can be frozen, even encased in water, and then flown back near the orbit of Mars without melting under the sun's heat. This will pull brave investors further and further toward the Kuiper belt, just as low real estate prices will. All of the inhabitable worlds in Solar System 1 are located several months' flight from actual liquid water. By extracting water and then hydrogen from rocky asteroids, this essentially allows us to fly and fuel at the same time wherever we wish in the solar system. Can you imagine the day when making money from this idea isn't illegal?